Hive production.
Welcome to Drawing Hive.
All right. Take it away. Oh, I'll stop the share just in case. Take it away, John.
I'm doing my best.
It's always a race.
Yep. Well, sometimes it lets me, sometimes it doesn't. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Drawing Hive. If you're here to draw, you're in the right place. We're going to have a really fun night tonight. We have a guest, and then we have a few other common, or I say participants that join us frequently.
Usual suspects. Yeah.
Yeah, usual suspects is a good one. Just to remember, Drawing Hive, it's a place to do push-ups and sit-ups and draw and talk and ask questions. But remember, it's brought to you by Visual Arts Passage, which is our online mentorship program that helps people develop careers in illustration and in the gallery world. And we do a very good job of it. I'm lucky, actually, tonight I have an instructor here from the fine arts program, and I got an instructor here from the illustration program. So that's pretty exciting. And then we're going to have a special, I'll introduce a special guest here in just a second. So guess who thought of this idea? You just heard the laugh. I got a kick when I saw this, Cassandra, because it just reminds me of you all the way through.
It should not shock you in the least that I was dying to paint this.
Okay. All right. So Netflix series. And here is the cast. It's funny, I recognize several of them. I hope you enjoy the reference I selected. We got some good lighting. That's what I'm after to start with, and decent poses. And anytime you can draw somebody walking a duck,
Yes.
take the opportunity. Some really fun costuming too. So we're going to do, as always, we do 3 poses, 2 20-minute poses, and then a 40-minute pose, which you can do all 4. You can spend your whole night drawing one, whatever you want to do. So I'm going to keep going, and we're going to get ready to draw here. But while you'll start drawing, I am going to introduce Katie. Katie Koenig. I assume that's how you pronounce your last name, Katie. Is that correct or close? Koenig?
It's Koenig, actually.
Koenig?
Yeah.
Okay.
Koenig.
I should have asked you that before we started. So my apologies. Your artwork is phenomenal. I've had a really fun time. I love like getting guests that I can go, people I don't know that I can go research. And it was really fun spending time on your website and pulling some images that I could share tonight. Kind of difficult to decide which ones to go with, but this is some really great stuff. Katie, you're a graduate of Savannah College of Art and Design. Is that correct?
I am. Mm-hmm.
And you
I studied illustration.
Sorry about that.
You're one of us.
Yeah. We've all done that, and then Dale's probably lasted the longest doing it, and does it extremely well. Some people it's perfect for some, and others want to explore other directions.
The only reason Dale was able to stick to illustration was because wasn't that your fallback from Rockstar Hood?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's my master plan.
Yeah.
Fallback career.
Yeah. It was safe.
Yeah. Good way to put it. This is beautiful painting, Katie. You got magnificent skill set. I'm always going to say, I say this all the time, people that want to be painters, especially painters that want a skill set that they can apply. The illustration world does a good job. I think learning illustration is a really encompassing skill sets. I mean, obviously you draw extremely well, and you have to consider materials and composition, understand color. And I think the general education that most illustrators go through it's the most well-rounded. And then where people take it that's, I know a lot of a lot of people that have studied illustration that end up in the gallery world.
Mhm.
I think Cassandra and I can both attest to that.
Yep.
Really great stuff.
Thank you.
So this whole time, we have an edge, or we have a disadvantage. Cassandra's been drawing the whole time, been getting her piece
The
started.
the let's draw popped
Mhm.
up. I made
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So anyway, these are the pieces I selected. Cassandra, if you have anything else you want to say, or we're going to end up talking to Katie all night. So fabulous work, and really appreciate you joining us tonight.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Right. John, do you want me to steal your screen?
Yeah, go ahead and steal
Okay,
it.
cool. All right, awesome. So everybody gets a drawing. The tags tonight are I'm pretty sure I assumed it was available. Bubonic Hive. I was like, yeah, that's fair. That's totally not going to be taken. Hashtag drawing hive, not visual arts passage. Please share your work throughout the night. We want to see it at the end of the show. It's always fun. So post it on Instagram and we will check it out. We've got a stacked panel tonight. This is going to be fun. Adam Gustafson just came in the room as well.
Oh,
Hey, everyone.
Hey,
Hey,
Adam.
For anybody wondering, I'll drop the link to the, I'm going to drop 2 links. A link to the photo reference, which just so you all know, it's always in the email we send out. And a link to our Discord. Please check it out. If you want to be part of the conversation, you can hop on Discord and join. So what's everybody working in tonight? Cassandra, let's start with you.
Shocking. Acrylic on cardboard treated with GAC. So,
Nice.
I almost did markers, but yeah, I just really wanted to paint these
Mhm.
costumes.
Katie, what's your plan tonight? This will be exciting because the panelists, everybody, not always, but tends, you all have your like typical week of materials you land on. So it's always exciting to have someone new that might have a new medium they're jumping on. So Katie, what are you working with tonight?
Go with charcoal tonight. Drawing
Nice.
was my first love, so I'm gonna go back there because I don't draw very often anymore, which is
Oh,
always a
really?
fun thing. Yeah, I paint all the time and barely draw.
So is it exciting to get the chance to like have an excuse to sit down with us and draw, or is it like, oh no?
No, it's great. I love it,
Oh, awesome. Nice.
especially when it's just for fun, because I feel like we don't do that very often either whenever we're professional artists.
Adam, I'm really excited to hear you explain what you're doing right now. Because I can tell there's something weird going on over
Yeah,
there.
I decided to bring I brought an iPad to a pencil fight.
You know what, Adam? Your solution to the screen share conflict that arises with Zoom, so far, this is the smartest solution I've seen.
Yes.
I decided that, just in case it seemed like I was actually remotely techie. No, I have a
Yeah,
camera pointed at my iPad and I'm looking at reference on my phone next to it.
it's a nightmare to share an iPad as a video share on Zoom.
This is like the anti-ray.
I
Yeah,
love it. I love it. I think it's awesome. Yeah. Dale, what's your plan?
My plan is to find a pencil.
hey, look for a red one.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to find something that's not.
All right.
Place looks like a bomb enough, so.
So that's a good follow-up question. You've been working on an assignment?
Yes, I am. I'm working on an assignment, and I'm working on my MFA stuff too. So
Nice. Dale, when your studio's a mess, I mean, I'm assuming it is because of what you said. Do you have trouble getting to work, or do you have no problem like working in the midst of chaos?
I kind of like chaos.
Really?
Yeah, but it's always better to you know, to not have chaos, but as long as, once I get into a space,
Yeah.
I'm good. You know what I mean? Like I can just move things and just occupy my, now how much space do we need? You know what I mean? I mean, we've got, you stand there or you sit there and that's your spot. As long as you can back up and look at stuff and not trip over something and have to go to the hospital, you know, you're good.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah, you don't need that much space. Also, I mean, my go-to is the second I need to be productive, I start cleaning my office. And then it's,
That's how I know I'm not going to be productive though. When I
yeah,
start,
right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cleaning is the worst form of procrastination.
It is.
yeah, because
It's
it's
got a
not
good
like-
outcome. It's got a good outcome.
It does. But I don't get a lot of drawing done when I'm doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Or anything else, right? I mean, that's
My studio.
anything else we do takes us away from whatever we're supposed to be doing.
So Cassandra, what is this show? Describe the show. Is this like a
So it's a comedy.
shadows kind of thing, or
Yeah, it's a comedy kind of set during the bubonic plague.
oh, that's a riot.
It's actually based on like a very, very old collection of stories.
Yeah, but it's like almost Monty Python-esque take on it.
Yeah, well, I was going to say that Python skit that's one of the funniest things ever.
Yeah.
So the original book was published in 1492.
Wow.
Yeah, Italian book. Giovanni, I'm assuming it's Italian because the author's name is Giovanni Boccaccio.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Xander put the cover up.
But it does sound like a show that would come out 5 years from now about a bunch of millennial like influencers that got trapped in a house during the pandemic.
Well, I feel like that's kind of the play on it. It's like,
Yeah, I'm sure
you
it is.
know, like,
But like the
well, we
original,
have that
yeah.
pandemic, but do we remember this
Yeah.
pandemic?
So
Yeah.
the original story, the original like published book is 100 tales told by a group of 7 young women and 3 young men as they were secluded in a villa just outside Florence in order to escape the Black Death.
No kidding.
Yeah, so it sounds like a contemporary story, honestly.
Yeah.
Do you remember when like people like there was this chapter where like people got like expensive Airbnbs
Oh yeah.
and like
Yeah.
and like grouped up and you were like, we are not the same.
It just forever shows that history truly does repeat itself.
Right? And then what's her name? Shosha. What's the lead female in it? Like no one says like elder millennial quite like her. I feel like every time I see her in anything, I'm like, she's like representing all millennials as like
Well, yeah,
anyways.
she was in
But-
that show. Was it Girls or I
Yeah,
can't-
girls, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, kind of fun that I'll try to pull some artwork. There's a lot of illustrations from the original book that are pretty cool. I'm assuming you found those, Cassandra.
What'd you say?
There's some really cool illustrations from the original book, the original publish of the book. Did you find those when you were, or did you just dig into the show?
I just dug into the show. Like,
Yeah.
you know, the first reference, that headdress, I've seen it in paintings so much, and I've always been trying to understand it. So I loved that they made it for the main character there, because I just wanted to figure out how they wear it, and she wears it so casually. I know, like,
Yeah.
it's probably not the same with the way boning is handled now versus then, but it's cool to see like a character casually wearing this thing that I've been trying to decipher in paintings.
Oh, so this is like a period correct.
Oh, I doubt it.
No.
No.
But
Oh,
it's
okay.
like close enough that like,
Yeah.
you know, if I'm trying to mock up my own version, like I feel like a lot of paintings don't get feathers right. And so I was just looking at ordering maybe some feathers to try to understand how the feather would drape on a hat better. And like the way that these costumes are done are like mocked up in a way that would help me understand
Mhm.
how it
Oh, I see.
potentially works.
So, Katie, I was looking at your website and I mean, you have a pretty broad spectrum of subjects that you focus on. What has it been mostly recently?
Recently, it's been more of what I consider like magical realism.
Okay.
I think that I've gone through a couple of shifts in my work, and I'm going through one now. And I think that this time it's largely because I've become a mom, and I felt like I was kind of done with the lighthearted still life. Like
Uh-huh.
I kind of said everything I needed to say with it.
Hmm.
And so, since it wasn't as fulfilling for me, I thought, okay, what else do I have to say? And I really started to dive into this world where I got to make things up.
Wow. So, for those who don't know, like, how would you describe magical realism?
Um, I would say rendered in a way that is realistic in style, but with some element of magic and impossibility that couldn't exist in real life. So for example, I have a painting of a deer who's a fawn whose spots are falling off and they're turning into the petals of a rose, and those petals are
Oh,
gathering
wow.
into roses as they fall.
Fun idea.
Wow. That's really cool. That's kind of like psychedelic as well. Is that wrong to say that? Or is it
No, no,
magical,
not at
magical?
all.
It's super hippie of you to say
Yeah, yeah. Where do you get when you start talking about magical realism, where do you get some of the inspiration from? Like what yeah, what kicks off a lot of it?
I think nature lately is a big
Really?
source of inspiration and ideas. I love to spend time outdoors. Um, I'm a runner and I love trail running in particular. I just like to be surrounded by woods and birds, and sometimes being on a run, an idea will just kind of hit me, kind of
Mhm.
like a lightning strike. And that's my favorite thing. I feel like I'm always chasing that feeling of when ideas just come
Oh.
so naturally.
Have you always been a runner? Or like when did you get
No,
into
not
it?
always. No, I started to get into it. Well, actually, I'm a breast cancer survivor. So after I went through cancer treatment is when I really started to get into it, because I felt like, in a way, my body had betrayed me and I felt sort of let down. So I
Mhm.
needed to see all of the good things that my body could do.
Hmm.
And that's what really got me hooked.
that's beautiful.
Wow. Wow. That's so interesting.
I'm a runner too, Kitty, and I'm upset right now because I've finally admitted to myself I have a stress fracture.
Oh, where?
Yeah, in my foot. And I've had it before, and it's like, no, it's not back. Nah, couldn't be. And I finally had to admit it. And so the hardest thing is to just not do anything now.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're a biker again.
No, that's
That caused problems too?
actually what caused it, I think. Believe it or
Oh.
not.
Whenever I see a guy in a little skimpy suit fly by me, I think of you, Dale.
Thank you.
Place of honor in Timmy's brain for you.
Yeah.
Whenever you see a group of cyclists that are
Yeah.
blocking up the road, you
Yeah.
Slowing me down.
No.
slowing you down, making your journey like 15 seconds slower. Oh,
You know
that's
what, Dale? You know what, Dale? I have a special place in my heart because believe it or not, I'm a cyclist. I'm not a cyclist. I was on a cycle and I got hit by a car many years ago.
did
So
you
I am very serious about bicycles when I'm driving. I'm like the ultimate respectful driver of people
wow.
on bikes. Yeah.
Well, thank you. I didn't know you got hit. That's awful.
I was in a pretty serious bicycle car accident. I was extremely lucky. It was a testament to how gigantic my head is. Um, truly, I was in a car, I was on a bike and I was making a left turn. I was in Portland, Oregon. I was on Willamette Boulevard, which is a really known street there. And I was making a left turn, and a person had whatever. I don't need to get into the details, but I got hit by an SUV, and I broke through the windshield.
Oh my
Oh.
gosh.
Yeah, and then they braked hard enough. I got tossed out of the car.
Oh my
Um,
God.
and believe this is really bad. I was 20 years old when this happened. So you guess if I was wearing a helmet.
No.
I
Oh.
was not wearing a helmet.
Oh
Me
my
too.
gosh. Everybody wear your helmets.
I know. I know. I mean, this is not behavior I would ever, I don't even joke about it. You should wear a helmet, but I was 20 and dumb. Also, it was like 2009. So people were like, it's not a motorcycle, man.
Uh,
um, but, uh, but yeah, I walked away from it.
wow. Really?
Extremely lucky. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, you're very lucky. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. I probably had a concussion.
Well, I mean, it doesn't make a difference with you, right? I mean, it's cool.
Yeah. I remember I went to the doctor and the doctor was like, you're extremely lucky you were wearing a helmet.
That's funny.
I was like, I've got some exciting news for you, doc.
Thank you, Mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, John. Yeah. I was like, he was like, wow, you must have the largest head of anybody that's ever come in this.
Oh my God. Seriously?
Oh yeah. He thought it was wild. He couldn't believe it. He thought I was making it up.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. He just saw you and he was like, whoa.
Well,
You got a
so
really big head.
no, so they knew it was. I probably won't. I'll try not to take too much time. But the accident was really serious. Like the car, because it was at first, it was kind of like a soft hit and run. Like the person hit me and then drove off and then came back.
Oh,
And so it kind of became a big deal, the whole thing. And the doctors were all looped in on there were photos of the car and everything. And the car was like really messed up.
wow.
Yeah. And
Your dog in the,
it was like he hit a deer. Like,
that's a
and
riot.
and so he just yeah, in the car, like, the cops show up, they tell the whole story, I think. I don't know really what happened, but the doc thought, man, this kid's lucky he was wearing a helmet.
That's,
That was in fact not.
I mean, it's not funny, but that's funny.
I mean, I have to process it as funny
Yeah.
to live with it, but no, it's not funny to not wear a helmet.
Did you have like PTSD afterwards or
Not at all.
no?
I went to a house party after. This is how much of a 20-year-old I was. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I was fine. I was totally fine.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Were you going to the party when you got hit?
No, I was
Were you warmed up for the party when you
I'll tell you this. I was going to get coffee with a girl that I had met. And this is how I'll give you this, Dale. I was in total shock because I did get stitches on my foot. But I called her before I called 911 to tell her I was probably going to be late.
Good move.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple minutes late.
Yeah.
Just a couple
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah. It's one of those things. It was a whole weird experience because at the same time, my friends were driving the opposite direction and they were in their car and they saw me get hit.
Yeah.
And so they were like, well, this is not good. And so they were going to the hospital. This is like the epitome of like college age problem solving. They were trying to figure out which hospital I was going to.
Yeah.
Nobody knows how I'm doing. They don't know that I'm like, okay. And on the way there, they passed by this house and it was a grill for sale for like $15.
It's funny.
And they were like, we got it.
Let this go. Yeah.
We got it. We can't just let this deal
That's really funny.
fly by. But anyway, yeah. So
Wow.
I'm a big fan of cyclists. That's a long story to
Yeah,
explain.
wow.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
and a different thing that I know Katie because we've show together at Robert Lang Studios in Charleston.
Oh,
So
cool.
it's funny, we actually met in person at the opening of a show we were in together. And so I hadn't realized she had traveled even farther than I had, but you guys were smart. You made like a family vacation out of it.
We did. Yeah, we ended up going to Hilton Head after spending a couple of days in Charleston.
That's nice.
But it was cool because she walked in with her family, and I realized immediately that she has twins. And so I was like, what? I'm showing with another artist that has twins that are young. And so I feel like I just immediately was like, hi, I basically want to be your friend now.
I
That's-
feel
I
like
hear you, Cassandra.
Is there
Enthusiastically. Hi.
is there an immediate bond amongst twin parents?
There's an understanding of the struggle, like the wonderful struggle, but it is complicated at times.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's too bad there isn't that kind of bond between other parents, because if you go to any soccer field, there's not a lot of bonding happening between a lot of the parents.
Really?
Oh my God, are you kidding me? Sports parents are just,
Yes, sports
not
parents.
all of them. There's a subset of sports parents that are very unbondy, put it that way.
Mhm.
Oh, I'll agree with you on that, but I think sat for hours on the sidelines, which I realized my parents did too.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, going to tennis tournaments, an individual, and you always sit next to the other parents.
Yeah.
I mean, if your kids get good enough, you usually know them, but you sit next to the other parents, and man, it is really hard not to say something, especially when, up until, especially the boys, up until they're 13, they just cheat like crazy. And
Yeah.
and they kind of work it out amongst themselves between 12 and 14. And if you go on and you're still a cheater at 14, it's an awful thing.
You're only going to get so far, especially in a sport like tennis,
Oh yeah.
So as parents, everyone here is a parent. So as parents and parents who are artists, I think it's an interesting thing that you all grew up in probably with different experiences about like parental support, right?
Mhm.
Like I can only imagine there's a pretty wide spectrum. It doesn't take that many artists in a room to get a pretty wide spectrum of either tremendous support and like zero support, right? Or like negative support. Um, how does that affect, I guess, how you guide kids or hobbies or like interests? Do you feel like you're like kind of like a hawk, like searching for like, oh, am I gonna like, is this a passion that I need to like I don't know, nurture?
I
Relating
feel
to the
like
sports or the art.
Well, I mean, I'm saying anything like because you found your passion, which is drawing, painting, art, and I'm saying like, do you feel like you're more sensitive to that?
I felt like I was, yeah.
Yeah.
My son was, and still is, really super into baseball, and I mean, baseball's fine, but I very early on, I was like, this is his thing, it's not my thing, and I just supported it, and I had the freedom to not be an expert in it, and butt into what he was doing. So,
That's pretty cool of you, Dale, because I feel like it's a ultimate dad move to jump into trying to become the expert
yeah,
of
well, I
like
mean, I
what the
grew up
son
with a
is
father
doing.
who wasn't overbearing like that at all. But
Uh-huh.
like swimming was literally our family business. So
Sure.
I had no interest in like, in imposing my
Uh-huh.
thing on them. It's their life. It's not my life.
Uh-huh.
So, um,
That's really insightful. I mean, I don't know. Everything gets so woven in, when
yeah,
you have that bond that I think it's hard to detach.
Yeah, my kids are 7 right now. So like it's all about letting them have time to play and figure out what to do with boredom. That's kind of where we are.
Uh-huh.
So if something sounds fun, we'll go try it. But yeah, right now I'm not trying to push anything on them.
But is it like when they show like I mean, I'm assuming you can see like a spark sometimes and you're like, ooh, is this gonna be it?
oh yeah, yeah.
Is this the thing?
No, I don't know. I
Yeah.
think I'm having trouble seeing that yet.
Okay.
I want them just to try a whole bunch of stuff and see like what cool
Yeah.
things there are to do out there.
Uh-huh.
But like if they want to make something out of cardboard, then like we pull out the cardboard. If they want to go for a walk and go look at stuff, we go for a walk and we look at stuff. Just
And you're never like, that's mommy's good painting cardboard.
oh no, I actually do have a stack of cardboard they're not allowed to use for that reason. Yeah, totally.
You're like, get.
And they'll be like, Mom, can I use this cardboard? And it's this stuff, and I'll be like, nope.
It's so funny. Everybody, that's the end of the first pose. We're moving on to the second one. It's another 20-minute pose. Please post your work. I'm going to drop these hashtags in the chat, but it's hashtag bubonic hive, hashtag drawing hive and have visual arts passage. Please share. We're going to check it out at the end of the episode. John, do you want to do your
I've been waiting.
you ready?
I haven't changed my camera yet, so. Oops. Oh, man, I missed a couple. I'm so sorry, Katie. I thought I stopped at the spoon.
That's gorgeous.
Isn't that
Wow.
awesome?
The bubbles you got on that, Katie.
Yeah, that is wonderful.
Thanks. That was the most fun part, those bubbles.
It's
How big
awesome.
is that?
I think that one was 16 by 20.
I love that it's an egg that big.
I have to look at this one too.
Wow.
Oh,
Look at that.
Wow.
Okay. Our other guest tonight, Andre Rousseau. And most people have seen his work, but they don't know who he is. He's a French post-impressionist. I think he was born in like 1844, and he lived to be 1910. Until 1910, he was interesting. He didn't start seriously painting until he was like 41 or 42 years old.
No way.
Yeah, it was just a, something he liked to draw. He would have come to Drawing Hive, I have a feeling. And
Mhm.
and then
That could be me.
he got really serious about it. And humorously, everybody described him as they called him I don't know, I don't speak French, so I apologize. Le Donnier, which means toll or tax collector, because that's what he did as his actual profession. And he was able to quit painting after quit collecting taxes or being the Donnier at the age of about 49 to be a full-time artist. And that's pretty cool that somebody would hang in there that long, and it had to be seriously interested and doing it for personal reasons that they really wanted to make art. So I got some images here. He was considered a post-impressionist, but he called himself a primitive painter. And as part of the primitive movement. And I just think he's exceptional. I've always loved his work. It's exciting. It's immediate. Extremely well composed. I think it's so interesting that, he maintained the primitive quality of his work. He was totally self-taught. Didn't, couldn't go to visual arts passage. And he there was things he didn't know, certainly at the beginning, that he maintained. I always think about primitive artists because I love them. But sometimes, you see people, most artists are primitive for a period of time, especially if they weren't, attending, art training. If you're self-taught, as you're figuring these things out, you work your way out of being a primitive painter, or a naive painter. And he managed to hold on to the qualities that made it beautiful. Love these things.
I love his sense of pattern too.
Yeah. You look at true primitives, you look at somebody like Grandma Moses, who I think was absolutely amazing painter.
Mhm.
And there was no So sometimes there was no overlap. There was very little understanding of perspective, but man, they made it work. This is beautiful. Yeah, the understanding of interpretation of, space really gets messed up in there when you start looking at it. Beautifully done. He was actually really, during his life, he was really frowned upon as not a good painter. And it kind of came out towards the very end of his life, and obviously afterwards, considered one of the best.
Oh, I love that.
It's beautiful. Your honesty to these things.
Mm-hmm.
Got such an unmistakable like visual language of his own, right? Like all these things just live in his, it's like his leaves are his leaves.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
You can see somebody, it's funny, it's like you see primitive painter, and I think of that coffee pot or teapot, whatever that is, and I immediately think of the painter William Bailey. It's just, this is the primitive version of it.
Hmm.
Love this painting.
Yeah.
Oh,
It has an ode to Botticelli feel to it.
Yeah. Understood value control really well. So great. That smiling monkey. Very humanized smile. That's a self-portrait.
Nice.
Threw that one in there for you, Cassandra.
Thank you.
Knew it had to be there.
The
I thought,
cat.
that great?
That cat knows stuff about people.
Yep. How do you make a hand like that work? You make the silhouette work. Beautiful. This is, I think, my favorite painting of his. I love this painting.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
All right. Well, that's my spot for tonight. I hope you all have enjoyed learning a little bit about Henri Rousseau, a really great artist that has influenced a lot of artists and carved a path in art history for sure. But Timmy, whenever you want to.
Right. That was great.
I can change cameras now.
Oh, lovely.
Katie, what is that tool that you're using right now? That
Oh my gosh, I don't even remember what these are called because it's been so long, but they're like little paper blenders. I have all different sizes.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks really cool. It's gigantic.
Yeah, that's a big one. They have
Yeah.
all different sizes.
How do you go about using them?
Well, I like that I can kind of smudge charcoal with more definition. And I also like that once they get dirty, you can use them almost as a drawing tool itself. So it lays down a little bit of the charcoal, but it's not a really heavy line.
Someone asked earlier, what medium did you use on those paintings that we were looking at? Let's, for instance, the fried egg.
Those are all acrylic.
Okay. You also work quite a bit in oil, is that right?
I have just started to in the past year or so. I used to work with oils like in high school. Whenever I was learning to paint, I learned with oils. And once I went to school for illustration and took a materials and techniques class, I really fell in love with acrylics and then just stuck with them for so long. And then recently I felt like I needed to relearn how to use oils again.
When did you finish at Savannah?
I graduated in 2010.
Did you ever know him? He might have been leaving about that time. Dick Kreppel,
No, I never knew him.
Don Rogers.
Yes, Don Rogers was my materials and techniques professor.
Oh.
I loved him.
He studied with me.
Did
How
he?
fun.
Well, kind of. He went to the Illustration Academy.
Fun.
He was a great guy.
Amazing. So do you-
Burkheiser over there?
what was that, Adam?
Adam, you're really quiet.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on today. I
Now
didn't
you
check-
sound a little better.
Yeah, you sounded like you were like inside of a can, inside of a can.
Huh. What's going on with my preferences?
Let's hit that question again though, because I can hear you now.
I was asking about Megan Burkheiser or name
That
Lydia.
was not familiar.
Oh, you're from New York? Do you know?
Yeah.
Well, I knew she went from University of the Arts down to SCAD like somewhere in the early 2000s or mid 2000s. So I wasn't sure.
Nice. So Katie, when you started working in oil, acrylic, and like really, I think started building what you're doing into a career, was there a moment where you chose a medium and you're like, I'm gonna full send commit to this medium, or is it not as simple as that?
For me, it was as simple as that.
Really?
I really wanted to be a children's book illustrator for some reason. And I took a book illustration course with a man named Alan Drummond, and he is a fantastic watercolor illustrator. And I wanted to be just like him when I grew up.
Really?
I did. And then I was doing all of these page spreads in watercolor, and he kept saying, this isn't working. This isn't working. And I
Yeah.
felt so defeated. And then one day he said to me, try acrylics. So I did. And I realized that's what I was missing. I'm just not a
Do-
watercolorist.
Do you remember it just, I mean, I'm assuming it was more supportive. Was it really that harsh? Was it just like, this ain't working? Like, or was it just, I
He
guess,
said it in it didn't sound as harsh. We had kind of been building up to it, I think, because
uh-huh.
I knew that my illustrations weren't coming across the way I wanted them to look either. So it
Yeah.
was a surprise to me. So it really was a good critique, and that he steered me in the right direction, and he knew it was just a medium that I was too heavy-handed with it. It was not working
Yeah.
for me.
Well,
So go ahead.
I'm with you, Katie. They can keep all the watercolor in the world. I have
I don't
friends-
think I've touched it. I'm a little scarred now.
Scarred from like the experience of getting feedback, or just scarred from just the frustrations of working with it?
A little bit of both, I think.
Yeah.
Because your ego gets involved, and you want to be good at whatever you're creating.
Mhm.
And any time that I spend painting, I don't want to spend it being frustrated if it's not really going to lead to any great growth or outcome for me. Like, I've just accepted I'm never going to be a watercolor painter, and that's okay.
That's cool. I have know some artists, and a good friend that's a great watercolorist. Somebody I know as an acquaintance, who I think is one of the best, is Dean Mitchell. just an amazing watercolor artist. And it's a different mindset, one that I don't have.
Here's
Yeah,
a
that's
question.
a
Oh,
restraint.
go ahead, Katie.
With watercolor, I feel like you have to have this restraint where you know if I add anything else, it's going to ruin it, and I don't have that.
Right.
Well, you just explained it perfectly.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I have none of that.
I was just gonna ask if, okay, a little bit of magical suspense or suspension. Imagine you could be a master of any medium that you're not currently a master of, sculpture, anything. What would you want it to be?
I think sculpture.
Oh, really? Yeah, I just nailed it on
Yeah.
that head. I was
Yeah.
like slam
Yeah.
dunk. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been good in 3D either, and I think that it's so cool to make something that has this form all on its own and can really command attention in a room. You set
Yeah.
it in the middle of a room, it's gonna look pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It allows you to jump off the wall. That's exciting.
Yeah.
That's a good question for the room, Timmy. I like that
Yeah,
question.
I'd love to hear what other people have to say.
Oh, furniture making.
Ooh,
Oh,
that's a
wow.
good one. That's a practical one. I love that.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm gonna go impractical and agree with Katie and just say sculpture. That'd be cool. I was just looking at some Bernini sculptures. I don't know how the hell they do that. I mean, it's so accurate, and it's not like you can erase something. with it.
Yeah, I wonder the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the magic trick of Bernini is
It's you guys would get a kick out of me trying to spell the names that you say. So I figured it out. It's spelled how it sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna pull some up. That's cool. John, how about you?
I probably would like to spend a lot of time exploring collage.
Ah,
Collage and paint together. I have artists that I'm big fans of that do that. I think but it's so not my mindset. So, but I would love to be able to do it.
There's a collage artist here in Pittsburgh named Seth Clark, whose work I love. He does makes them look like dilapidated barns and houses that are falling apart. It's really neat.
what's his name again?
Seth Clark.
Seth Clark. I'm gonna look that
Oh,
up.
I'm working on it, Cassandra. I'm on it.
Perfect.
I'm on it. Awesome. That is pretty cool.
Wow.
I'm assuming there's only one Seth Clark collage artist from
Yeah, Seth is.
Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Wow.
Very cool.
Oh,
Wow.
I've seen that. That's very cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Dang.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's collage?
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
what? What?
Like I can't
There's a
even tell
lot
where
of-
the collage starts and the painting ends. Like
That's
Wow, it's
fantastic.
also much wider than it was presenting. Yeah. Wow.
Look up while you're there. I'll tell you my favorite kind of combination collage and paint. It was one of my dad's biggest influences. Manola Valdez.
I'm just becoming the
I was just
Google
looking
boy.
for that, John.
Pardon me?
come on, Google boy, get on it.
I said I'm just becoming the Google boy.
Yeah.
Oh, Sanders not here, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know,
Google
right?
boy, look up pizza.
Google boy. Google boy. I think this is it, right, John? Manola Valdez. This maybe I'm just looking at the wrong thing.
That's him right there.
Okay.
What else do we want Timmy to Google?
Nope, this is it, Dale.
I need a video of how to replace a light bulb.
Yeah. It'll take 5 Timmys.
Yeah, there's one of his paintings that
Okay.
magnificent,
Wow.
and they're
Wow.
huge.
Dale, I'm just imagining if you became a master of sculpture, what your yard would look like. It would definitely up your yard game, right?
Boy, has anybody seen that Anselm Kiefer documentary? It's on Criterion.
No.
Oh, no.
When you said yard, he does these installations that are they're epic. And his studio, he needs to he has a bike that he rides around his studio because it's so huge.
That's so
I-
cool.
I've seen that.
That's
Well, see,
wild.
now you're reminding me. I also want to learn to weld stuff. So I've always wanted to like learn
Cassandra,
metal sculpture that way.
Cassandra, I bought a welding kit like 6 months ago because we have a gate by our house and it fell apart.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I got a quote, and the guy was like, it's $200. And I was like, I'm gonna do it for 50. And so I just last weekend fixed my 5th weld of this same spot, and and turns out it's quite an art.
Yeah, I heard it's complicated.
Yeah, it's relatively complicated. It's a blend of science and art.
I mean, you have a piece of furniture that I made for you that I welded.
You do. It's beautiful. I should have actually called you first. I love it. I'm
I
gonna
have a lot of help.
no, I love it's a centerpiece. It's a bench that you designed based on I mean, it's like a replica of, is it the Met?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's incredible. It was a really special, it was a 30th birthday gift from John. It was pretty awesome. It was a good one.
Will it fit your house?
Oh, it fit my house. I mean, yeah.
Mid-century. Didn't
I
fit.
live in the Met. I live, yeah, no. It's honestly, I would say confidently it's the nicest piece of furniture we have in our house.
Thanks.
I genuinely I genuinely mean it. Yeah.
Oh, Adam, what's yours?
Yeah.
But actually, the welding and casting,
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, casting.
Yeah, that's cool.
and I have I welded briefly in this like workshop we did at the college, and it is not intuitive for me. I just kept wanting to do it like I was drawing, and that is not how you do it.
You don't weld as you draw?
No, it's
No?
yeah.
Isn't it
It's really rough on your clothes too.
yeah. I also burned my eyeballs the first time.
Oh
I
my
did it.
gosh.
I was like going to sleep and I was like, Gianna, my eyeballs feel like they're on fire. Do you think that's serious?
Did you wear a mask?
Oh yeah, of course I did. But it turns out there are
All the different grades, and you got
there are different grades,
you
and
got the Harry
yeah.
Homeowner grade.
yeah. Although we live close enough to the country, and I've been around enough people that they're like, oh, you don't need a mask, you just need to squint.
I'm
Oh
like,
my gosh.
Which you're like, I'm pretty sure it's more complicated than that.
You don't need a
Um,
vest either.
yeah,
just
you
need to buy
don't.
new clothing afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. I looked, you know what though? There's this apartment complex across the street, and like people were like, wow, our neighbor goes hard. He is, but they didn't see that this gate has fallen apart. Like it routinely falls apart now. It just repatching weld after weld. Yeah. But I think it's really interesting that all of you, except for John, who knows how to weld.
Well, I
all-
honestly would tell you, I had a lot of help. Someone technically helping me with that.
Okay.
The only thing I've done is that bench, the table that's in my dining room right now. I built the
Yeah.
bench for that. And then a table that's at my daughter's house.
That's so cool.
But I mean, I mean, you understand, you have a
I
understanding.
understood the basics of it, but you know, but it was like one of those things we were talking about, like really famous fashion photographers that walked in and pulled the trigger.
Yeah, but
I had a lot of that.
yeah, but one thing I would say is like also welding, there's levels to it. Cause like there is a part of the fence that I welded that looks, and I know I'm talking about a fence here, but there are parts of it that look ugly as hell, but that weld is not going to break for like 10 years. Like,
John, we have such a past. Timmy's been talking about bike accidents. He's been talking about his
Yeah.
fence. You know,
We have a lot of room.
this is awesome. We are just building credits.
oh, you're talking about the spectrum of conversation that's allowed now?
Yes, we're building
Yeah.
Timmy conversation credits right here. Please go on.
Lauren Panapinto really broke the wall down on all the rules of Drawing Hive. Yeah.
Certainly,
Yeah.
rating as far as.
Yeah, the Minotaur, the whole Minotaur
Oh my gosh. I
thing.
think
That's
everybody
the only Drawing Hive episode I've uploaded to YouTube where it was like, does this video contain any mature content? And I was like, why, yes, it does. But
that's the episode where you could just say one word and know which episode. You just say Minotaur and you
Yeah.
know.
That was a great. I'm glad I showed up for that one.
I literally was thinking, God, why did Dale have to be here tonight? It's good. Yeah, no, I'm teasing.
No, it was such a great conversation. Like I was fascinated by just kind of the idea of having to think ahead on trends and like
yeah.
how things have shifted. Like it was fascinating.
Yeah. No, I was just thinking it's interesting that you all like work predominantly I don't want to make any grand assumptions, but in 2D and all that was, I mean, am I right? All four of you were like
Well, that was
pretty interested in 3D, other than you, John.
Well, Timmy, that was the whole idea. It was like I wanted to do something that was three-dimensional. And
Yeah.
thing I really got into for a period of about 8 or 9 years was kind of designing like remodels for homes. And I looked at that as like an outlet as a three-dimensional process. Welding's a hell of a lot easier. Yeah. And it's a lot cheaper. So, but it all came.
Yeah. Somebody just said there were rules, question mark. Yeah, there were rules. There were pretty vague tightrope walking rules. I would love if you're here. I'm going to open up the chat on Zoom. Believe it or not, we're gonna really go crazy. Let us know what you would like to work with. If you could work with if you could be a master of any other material. I'm gonna walk around the room. This looks awesome.
Money.
That'd be fun.
Ooh, Dale, that looks great. Got that gaze so well.
I'm gonna buy Dale some pencils one of these days.
Wow.
You would grind them up on a sanding pad.
Look at this. This looks great, Adam. This is a brilliant solution to this problem.
That's killer, man.
The art's looking awesome. It's streaming. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well done. The reflections are just off, so you can't really. They're not interfering.
I was fiddling with that, trying to make it as while still having like everything meter and show it. I was like,
Yeah.
black magic, I think.
Oh, Sally said glass blowing. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's a trip, man. Have you ever been to a glass blowing studio? They are busy.
I saw one in France. It was wild. Just absolutely wild. It's really, isn't it bad for your health?
Well, it can be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really bad for your health.
If you like accidentally, I mean, yeah.
There
It
used to
seems
be
like
like
it
a
would be
lot
bad.
of lead used.
Yeah.
I would just imagine the heat. I don't know. I have no idea.
Dale
Somebody said it
Chihuly
was
still
bad.
alive?
What's that?
Is Dale Chihuly still alive?
I think he is. I love his stuff.
He's got to be pretty old if he is.
Yeah, I think his stuff's fantastic.
I saw one of his exhibits and it blew me away.
Got some good ones. Architecture. That's a great one. Man, that would be an amazing one. Animation, silk screen printing, oil painting. We got one from Felicity. Can you guys guess Felicity's?
Right.
Driving, that's funny.
Driving.
Driving.
Katie, Felicity is Cassandra, how old?
She's just turned 13.
13. Been drawing with us since we started the show 200 some episodes ago. Maybe our most dedicated
She
listener.
was
Yeah.
8. when she
Yeah.
She
Felicity
signed her
wants-
work with her year next to it. I love
yeah.
it.
Felicity wanted to be a master of sculpting. Pretty good one.
Yeah, Felicity.
Technical drafting and graffiti, digital 3D modeling or animation. That's great. Love it.
Writer too, and that'd be.
Oh, Xander looked it up. Chipley's still alive.
Yes.
Thought he was.
Wow. Can you imagine the type of house you have to own to put something like that in it? Let me share.
I was at a restaurant or a wedding recently that actually had a Chihuly chandelier in the lobby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The type of
That's a
home you need.
flex.
Yeah, right.
Or the type of bank account you have to own that house to put a Chihuly in it.
Yeah. It's a bold move. It's a bold. That doesn't fit in most rooms.
That's funny that you say that. So we had a John, you'll appreciate this. We talked about our friends that we can occasionally hitch a ride with that we can't really keep up with financially, put it that way.
Yeah.
We had a situation where people were sending flowers to the house, and this friend of mine sent flowers to our house, and the flowers were like they belonged in a massive casino lobby.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was literally like 6 feet tall. And probably, oh God, maybe 4 or 5 feet wide. And like our house isn't big, you know what I mean? So we're like, it took 2 guys to bring it up the stairs to deliver it. And like we just didn't know, we didn't know what do we do with this thing. So it just kind of sat in the middle of everything, and eventually it became like this weird sculpture that we were walking around every day. But that Chihuly chandelier really
Sounds like a mob wedding.
What's that?
Like a mob wedding
Yeah.
or funeral.
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly.
Well, that's pretty cool that they did that though, anyway. I mean,
Yeah. No, it was beautiful. It was nice. It was, it's just really kind of laid bare the different worlds we live in. That's all.
yeah.
I'm just picturing this huge, like a vase of flowers. If I don't even know what kind of like a urn of flowers that you guys are all just having to walk around.
Yeah, the vase or urn or container, whatever it was, that was like hip hop. That was like 4 feet tall, and then it was just amazing. It was really I've never seen anything like it. It was and we're kind of sad when it finally reached the end of its life. It was like, oh well, that was a fun visit.
That's cool. And kind of surreal. Your temporary art installation.
Yeah. It's funny, we're talking about it. That made me think, geez, I would love to know how to do that. To, be really, because the arrangement itself was stunning. And when you can really nail that, I think that whole, flower arrangements, I think I'd do that. I think that's a cool job.
I
Yeah.
actually was a floral designer for a couple years before I started really painting.
You
No
were?
way.
Yeah,
Oh, no
What are
kidding. You like it?
I did. I loved it.
What are the fundamentals of floral design?
Um,
What's like the number one rule you don't break?
gosh, I don't know what the number one rule
That's a
would be.
pretty loaded question.
That is a loaded question.
Don't
well,
drop
like, in floral design, I was taught to work in threes.
No.
Okay, that's a good one. Yeah, what are some cheap tricks to up your floral game?
Yeah, yeah.
Carefully pick your color palette.
Okay. What is what do you think of like a rule of a color palette for a floral design?
I think like analogous or complementary.
Hmm.
Analogous is usually super safe.
Yeah, this was a very analogous palette we had.
Yeah, I think it makes it classy.
Yeah. Um, are there tropes in flower arrangement? Are there like, are there things where someone would do something and people who really knew what they were doing would be like, oh my God, they're doing that.
Yes, of course.
Pretty
Yes?
Oh, yeah.
pretty elementary.
Oh, no kidding. Like, can you think of like a cheap, like just a cheap trick that you would use, and it's like the florist or the floral community would roll their eyes.
Yeah, if you, I mean, there, of course, there are inexpensive flowers and expensive flowers. So if you would fill something with really inexpensive flowers that kind of all have the same texture,
Oh,
then that would
Oh.
be frowned upon.
oh, okay. I never even thought
Be
about
an
that.
amateur move.
Yeah.
So you'd walk by and you'd be like, oh, nice, nice texture.
Yes. I admire flowers at funerals and weddings.
Oh,
My wife Gianna worked at a flower shop for years in Omaha, Nebraska when she was in high school. And she delivered floral arrangements,
yeah.
and she delivered a floral arrangement to Warren Buffett.
Get out of here.
Ah,
I'll bet it
Yeah.
was cheap.
Yeah. I asked her, I go, that must have been like one hell of a floral arrangement. And she's like, don't remember it at all.
Oh,
Half dozen roses for his wife.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. And you're like, which one? The one he was living with? Or like, you're just like,
I
no,
This
have
is
a
gonna
friend.
sound like this is gonna sound like a flex, but it's I don't mean it to be, but I've got a friend who sold his company to Warren Buffett, and he said he and his brother own the company,
yeah.
and they went out there to Omaha to visit Warren,
Uh-huh.
and Warren's like, I'll take you guys out to lunch when you get here, and it'll be nice, and they went to McDonald's.
oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty funny. I go to Omaha as little as possible, but when I'm there, to see family.
You always drive by his house.
Yeah, I see his house, which everybody always says how modest it is. Don't believe it. It ain't modest. It's a
Yeah.
very nice home.
I've seen it.
It's a very, very, very nice home in Omaha, Nebraska.
But is it modest for the
It's modest for being fun fact. If I read this like last week and it really blew me away. It was if he had not given away so many shares of Berkshire Hathaway, he would be the richest person in the world. But he's given away most of his fortune to charity.
no kidding?
Yeah, I didn't know that. I was kind of surprised to hear that. But no, it's a fine house. But it's funny because some of the strangest people you would ever guess end up in Omaha because he's like it's his hub. And so there's a ice cream shop that we go to, and in the ice cream shop, they have a selfie that a kid took, and this kid was like going down the street and just ran up and saw Paul McCartney and and him sitting on a bench and took a selfie in front of him. Didn't ask her anything, just ran up in front of him and took a photo. And I was like, oh, I love that kid.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because you're like also like he was just like it was an adult like it's not even Gen Z. Like you're like you're like some elder millennial was like, you got to go take a photo of those two old men over there.
Yeah.
Right.
There's 0% chance he had any idea who either of them were. But
How
yeah,
far is Omaha, Nebraska from Kansas City? Like, I don't have a concept of.
like 3 hours, 4 hours.
Oh, no
I
kidding.
think it's 180 to between like right around 200 miles.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Oh,
an easy
wow.
drive.
Yeah.
Geez, I mean, I think of Omaha, Nebraska, and it's like it might as well be, Taipei.
Yeah, that's how I think, Dale. It seems so far away, but the way you both were casually talking about it, it felt like it wasn't that far away for you guys.
Yeah, it's 1 million
No,
miles.
I did think that it was like absolute Hickville when I first started seeing Gianna. I had never been there, and I was like, no.
I
Yeah,
had a-
this is how little I go there. It's 2.5 hours basically.
Xander?
Somebody just posted it.
Xander already got the map up. It's 2 hours and 43 minutes, 184.8 miles
Yeah,
from
Oh,
Kansas
that's like
City.
New York for me.
yeah.
Thanks,
I'm be in
Xander.
trouble. Be in trouble if if
Well, I
anybody
mean,
sends this to Gianna.
I wasn't saying that it's Hickville like you were. I was just
Yeah,
saying-
this is pretty bad. I'm on a pretty bad. Today is our anniversary. This is a pretty bad.
Oh,
Happy
wow,
anniversary. That's
wow.
right.
Yeah,
You
it's
guys got
exciting.
married on a Thursday because
We
I
did.
remember you were like setting things up and then just being like, all right, I'm going to step out now
I have
and
to
get
go get
married.
married. No, I didn't get married. No, you're thinking of the Bachelor episode,
Oh, was
the
it the
Bachelor
Bachelor or
party,
did you have the rehearsal?
the Bachelor party episode of Drawing Knives.
What?
Anyways,
I didn't know we had a bachelor party.
that would have been really fun. No, there was just an episode where I was like, my brothers are over, and it was like peak COVID, and they were like on my patio, and it was like, this is my bachelor party.
Oh,
Yeah. So he
Yeah.
was just like, I'm going to step away now because I've got
Yeah.
wedding stuff.
oh, I
Yeah.
must have been here. Right? Was I here?
I don't think so, Dale.
No? All right. How many
No.
years have you married?
4. This morning, my mom asked me that, and I said 15.
Ah.
And I now I do have a game now where I'm gonna say as many years as I possibly can to see if people challenge it.
That's really funny.
You know, they try it out. You know, next time somebody asks how long you're married, just say an absurd number. See if they believe it.
My absurd number is real.
I'm coming up on 25 next
No
month.
way, really? Congrats.
Oh,
How about
that's
you, Sandra?
fantastic.
25.
You remember 25, John?
Yeah,
I hardly do.
I'm coming up on 37.
37.
Wow, that's
Wow.
awesome.
Yeah. Feels like 4.
I'm coming up on 11.
That's
11.
exciting. That's exciting. Yeah.
37 years. Well, he's dead now, but 37 years of her father just hate my ass.
Yeah. Did he really?
No.
No.
We didn't get along.
No, no. No, that's
That'll
different.
I
happen.
get along with most people, but
Yeah.
he was an interesting guy. He just didn't really understand like what I was about, what I did, what I was about.
Yeah,
That's tough.
I've had those.
Actually, no, he was actually kind of a pretty capable, a talented guy. It's like he was kind of jaded because he never did what he wanted to do.
That's
Mm.
brutal. That's
He
sad.
wanted to be an architect and he never, pursued it. Something about getting married when you're 18 years old.
Yeah.
Complicates things.
It was
Just
complicated.
want I just imagine a person with like a Lincoln log set and it just like falling over and then being like, oh God.
Oh my God.
No, if only. No, that's brutal. The failed passion or like the not following passion, that haunts so many people.
Yeah.
And I
yeah.
mean, like, and also I think it gets tricky when you get to a certain age, which I don't subscribe. Honestly, I really believe no matter what you want to do, like at any age, you should still, like, if you find out late, you should still chase it,
For most things, yeah.
but I mean, even if not, it's like, why not?
Well, I mean, astronaut.
Was
Yeah.
giving painting.
Yeah,
lessons.
but Dale, I mean, like about 10 years, I bet astronauts is going to be how much money you have.
Well, it is now. Yeah, you're right.
It is right now.
You can
Yeah.
do it, Dale. You can do it still. I can tell that's a personal thing for you.
I was
Good
getting-
flower guy.
Yeah, Dale, you can do it.
I was
I-
giving painting lessons to a woman she's a psychiatrist, and but she started painting in her 40s, maybe going on 50s. She's an amazing landscape painter now, but she said that when she was young, she was always interested in the arts, and mostly she wanted to be an actress. and her parents were both doctors, I think. And so they hired a drama coach to come over and for her to audition for the lady, and she was going to give her acting lessons. And then the woman told her parents in front of her that she had no talent, abandon it now, and maybe, find something practical to do. And it was only, I think, maybe in her 40s that she found out that her parent, that wasn't, the woman wasn't a drama coach. She was just someone her parents had hired to come over and tell her that.
That's
No,
awful. That's infuriating.
that is traumatizing.
Yeah.
That's terrible. That's an absolute betrayal.
I think it's a pretty good idea. Obviously,
It's-
one who has
I mean,
kids. I'm sitting here thinking, "Hmm,
It's a transferable concept that would work great for other problems. but I hate the spirit in which it was used.
I keep thinking it's like that's what my dad was doing. I got it.
Oh, man.
No, wow. That's awful.
That is terrible.
No, I mean, I feel like I got to start doing like I connected with Syracuse. I didn't have any connection to comedy, and now I get and I remember being like 34, this is 2 years ago, and being like, the bridge to working with people in comedy is completely closed. And like now I'm working with people in comedy like pretty consistently.
That's awesome.
It's really fun. I mean, it's not a career, but it's like it's just fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That it's enough for me, right? Do,
Oh.
do you all feel sorry, go ahead, Cassandra.
Oh no, I just feel like you're neglecting a really important story that I got the whole text for that should be shared because it's like
Oh,
I felt
what
like you lived a Hallmark movie.
the my week? I mean, I had a roller coaster of a week. We had a dog crisis that was nightmarish. All the dogs are okay. I have a whole pack of dogs over here now, and they're all okay. But oh, Cassandra, I feel like that story would take up so much time. I don't want to crack into it, but before we do anything else, I do want to say, uh, it is time to move on to the third and final pose. It's the longish one. It's not super long. Hashtag drawing hive. Hashtag bubonic hive. An ab visual arts passage. Is it bubonic? Is that right for this Black Death? Is that the right
I think so.
plague?
I think that was the plague, but the black
I
plague.
put zero. I put zero. I was
Any research here?
I was flying. Yeah.
Sanders on it.
Cassandra, I probably should not tell that story yet because it's an ongoing literal investigation.
Oh,
Okay, well when he takes the time to do it, it was just I
maybe
was-
next week. Maybe next
Oh,
week.
is that the one I
Yeah.
heard yesterday?
Yeah, John, I told you.
Good story.
I'll give the shortest version of it, which is I think I saved a local library.
See, it's a
Wow.
Hallmark movie.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's really fun. But I don't want to consume all the oxygen tonight as if I already have. Wow, this is looking awesome, Katie.
oh, that's cool.
Nice.
That's amazing.
wow.
Nice.
I'll give her the Ray Bonilla line. I should have done that.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what Ray says? I should have done that.
Mhm,
Says it all the time. I should have done that. But he
Wow.
usually says it to me, like, John, you should have done that.
No, he doesn't.
Wow. Katie, so what is your go-to for like do you spend much time like doodling or drawing like like sketching, I guess?
I don't really.
Really?
Yeah, not so much anymore. I wish I did it more and maybe I'll get
Uh-huh.
back to that practice.
Is that kind of like a luxury?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can tell you've drawn a lot at some point.
Yeah, I used to draw all the time, but
Really?
Were you kind of that kid, you know?
I was that kid. I am still friends with a girl that was my best friend in childhood, and she still talks about how I was that annoying kid who only wanted to draw all the time. She would come over to my house and I would be like, let's draw. And she hated it.
So do you not draw that much anymore because it takes away from painting or just time or just
Young
it's okay
kids.
not to feel like drawing too.
Twins.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just kids, the stage that I'm in with parenting, the only time that I have I use for painting.
Yeah.
Whenever I had just one, he would come into the studio with me and he would paint or draw. And it was nice to be able to do it with him or, you know, kind of next to him, adjacent to him.
That's got to be so much fun.
It was so much fun. He still loves it if the twins are napping and I
Yeah.
have him come down and paint for a little while. He thinks it's great.
Katie, you have some fun videos on Instagram where it shows you like what it looks like for her to attempt to get some painting done with her kids around.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, yeah, how would you describe it?
Well, I decided to be brave one day, so I just put baby gates up and I blocked off pretty much everything in my studio. And my studio is in the lower level of my house, so the other half of it, like, the kids will play. And it worked then, but now I'm not sure it would work so well because my daughter is like attached to me 24/7. She's going through some separation anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll get a kick out of this. A few people in here, in this room, my father was an artist, and I have a picture of him from when he was going to art. He went to Art Center in Pasadena, and there's a picture of him. He went late. He was 28 when he graduated, and he had two young daughters. And they had the, that expandable baby pen that everybody had, that you put your kid in, and it's like, looks
Yeah,
like
baby jail.
baby jail.
Baby jail.
He had a different, he was a really, always a really creative thinker. He put himself in it with his art supplies and then let the kids on the outside. I thought that was so smart. I've never seen that before from, when I first saw that. I thought,
That's brilliant.
I'll have to try that.
Yeah.
Adam, this is awesome.
Wow.
Adam, also, I'm loving the puns are just getting better and better. Your Iron Man drawing,
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
which anybody doesn't know if you follow Adam. Adam, what's your tag on Instagram?
Gustafson Adam.
Okay. Gustafson Adam. It's always puns. Today's was Iron Man, and it was Iron Man ironing a shirt. Pretty solid.
Like in his whitey tighties.
I was,
I think he was in Underoos, wasn't he?
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Love a pun. The ultimate dad joke follow on Instagram.
that would be Adam.
Yeah.
I had kids just so I would make sense. Like,
Did my comment land?
I don't know if I saw it yet.
Oh, Wolverine, like wolf.
Oh wait, yes.
Oh, nice for that.
I was like,
Yeah, I was like, yeah. Sidekick to Wolverine.
right. I was actually jealous when I read that.
Were you? You can use it. I would be honored. I often spend time thinking of a pun just to text it to you. Yeah. That's looking amazing. What app are you working in right now?
I'm in Procreate. I've used one brush and one layer.
How cool is the Procreate announcement? Like I think it was on like Monday of this week. Did y'all see it?
More stuff I don't know.
I didn't see it.
Okay, so Procreate made a post. The CEO, I don't know if it was the founder or whatnot, but
Oh
it
yeah.
was like a face to camera, which you never see on their account. And it was just like their stance on AI. And they were just like, we effing hate it. And we're not going to incorporate it into our tools at all. And just like, don't worry, it's not coming to Procreate. It was really great. It was said much more eloquently than that. He did use the F word. I did not add that. Yeah. But
Timmy, tell
It
him
was
who
really
our guest
cool.
speaker is this week.
oh yeah, that's a great. So for those of you who don't know, this is all sponsored by Visual Arts Passage. We have these mentorship style online art classes for illustration and fine arts. And every semester we have 7 guest speakers. And this weekend our guest speaker that's going to be talking with all of our illustration and fine arts students is Kyle Webster, who is the latest. You know, it's like when you see like a big athlete get traded to an amazing team, and it was so excited because Kyle, if you've ever opened up Adobe, you know, like curse their name now, but if you've ever opened up Adobe and you've seen their brush packs, it's a Webster brush. Um, Kyle designed all of those. Adobe purchased them or developed a partnership. I can't get into the weeds of like how that all worked, but it was a pretty amazing partnership that he brokered years and years ago. And Kyle pretty recently switched teams and is now with Procreate. So it's really exciting. And I know that John, I know you talked with him earlier this week. I know that stance that Procreate had was a big part of his choice to switch to I mean,
Yeah,
what
we didn't
Kyle
get
said
too
was,
far into that, but he
yeah.
was very, very open about,
But I mean, it's
that was one of his reasons for leaving in the first place. So
yeah, but it's so Kyle's going to be talking with our students. Our school, it's a small school. It's a small school by design.
But
Sorry, my dog's really passionate about the school.
but that's another individual that actually studied with some of us.
Yeah.
Kyle
So
spent a very short time at the Illustration Academy.
yeah. So but like for those of you who don't know, and like Procreate seems like a giant, you know, it's one of the most downloaded apps, probably in visual arts. It might be the number one other than like some of the Adobe ones. So you might think of it as like this behemoth. Um, Adobe has thousands of employees. Procreate has, I believe, 85.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a cool company. So big fans of Procreate. And a even bigger fan of Kyle Webster. He's
good.
awesome. Yeah, he's great. So yeah, so for those of you who don't know, if you join Visual Arts Passage, you get to meet people like that. You get to ask them questions, hear their story. Kyle's story is always really cool because the last time he spoke with us, he talked about starting that relationship with Adobe. And I thought it was so cool that, I mean, I got to know about Kyle through Sterling and you, John, and then just like seeing him online. And he's one of those guys that you just think like, wow, everything just is a boulevard of green lights for you. Everything, you're just so bright and interesting. Like things must be pretty easy. And you learn his story and you're like, it was in fact very difficult. And it was not very easy. And I think it's important to hear that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he talks about how he went to Adobe like multiple times and they were like, no, this is not going to happen. And I find that, I don't know, you only look at the finished result, you know, like
It's really exciting and encouraging.
totally.
Like we had John Ching this week too.
Mhm.
And he was so generous with just showing like his first paintings and like what he was doing before he's doing what he's known for now, and just the process of him discovering his style. Just I think that's so exciting to see that evolution of him figuring out what he does now.
John Ching was awesome. Yeah, so you get access to a ton of people, which for those of you who don't know, we are enrolling for the fall semester, and that enrollment closes October 4th, but space is limited. Like I said, small school by design. So you're in a class. We try not to make those classes large at all. That way you get tons of FaceTime with Dale, Cassandra and Adam and John. So it's important. I mean, everybody here, I mean, everybody that gets great at something, unless you're just a freak of nature, it's because of a relationship you had with somebody who was already really good at it.
Yep.
You know?
I didn't have any relationships with people who were good at it, but
That's why we call you the freak.
no,
of nature. I'm teasing, Dale.
it probably took me, you know, 5 times as long to get anywhere.
Oh, I thought you were joking. I'm sorry, Dale. I didn't mean to.
No,
I didn't mean to step on that.
When I first went to the Illustration Academy, that's when I
Yeah.
first started kind of you know, my eyes were open to,
Yeah.
what you could do, and, you know, I kind of, I met some people there, and then that turns into another thing, and, you know, so it's all, it is really important to develop.
Yeah.
that.
I talk with a lot of people every week that are self-taught. Use the chat. Tell us if you're self-taught, or you just say self-taught. Um, Self-taught's an interesting route. I think it's and I'd love to hear what you all think about it. My question would be, at a certain point, do you have to branch out?
I think you
Oh.
go, you know, you find it. Even if you're self-taught, you're, you
All
know,
artists, yeah, all artists are self-taught to some extent.
yeah.
Well, I mean, but I'm being very like tech. What we're talking about is like going through a traditional program of
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm not saying like you didn't learn from some like that's what I mean. It's when I think most people, when they say self-taught, that doesn't mean they're not using something like Domestica or I
yeah.
don't know,
Well, like I looked at more stuff, you know
information.
what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I looked at a lot of Mad magazine. That was my college, and that was my art school.
Somebody said, "Are you self-taught if you are an INVAP?" No, you are not self-taught.
Right.
but but you know, it's nuanced, right? Yeah, it's a lot of people come to visual arts passage self-taught. That's very common.
Yeah.
But I guess, you know, yeah, it's a good question. Is like, what does that actually mean? It's a pretty loaded term. And when you say it, sometimes I think it can be insulting to people who have helped you,
Yeah.
you know.
There's a couple of times I've had to remind people. Uh,
Yeah.
okay, so that time you spent, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Most parents probably don't like hearing their kids say they're self-made. Yeah.
I actually heard a friend of one of my kids say, "Oh, I raised myself." I'm like,
Yeah.
no, you didn't. I remember you had to go home for dinner.
Yeah. I think my dad's the only person I've ever met that I'm like, yeah, you were you were very much on your own.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. When he was like 12, my grandma would be like, I'm going to New York for a month. Watch the house.
Wow.
Yeah. He would have like parties. Our neighbors, I got to move when I moved into our house, is the house he grew up in. Same neighbors from when he was a kid. They were like in their 90s and they told me stories about him. It was
That's so
unbelievable.
cool though that like it's the
Yeah.
same neighbors who know.
Yeah, but they were like edgy. They were like, "You gonna be like your dad?"
That's what I was gonna ask. Were they just like, you're not allowed to pull your dad's shenanigans?
Yeah, no, they were not warm and fuzzy. They were like, "Are we in like the twilight years of our life? Are we gonna have to put up with another Tim
Yeah.
Trayvon?"
Are we doing this?
Yeah, we thought this was over.
We survived one of you.
um,
It's really
but
fun.
no, the self-taught journey is, yeah, it's I don't know. It's interesting though too, because it seems to be kind of a there's that, and then there's nepotism, which I feel like nepotism has been like the hot word of 2024.
Yeah, I hadn't really heard it used that often
Oh, like
previously.
the Nepo baby thing. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like kind of getting thrown around a little loosely. Not that there aren't nepo babies, but I'm just kind of
oh,
like, oh,
I
come
just
on,
hate
you
the
heard the
whole.
word.
I just hate the whole dehumanizing, like your thing. You know what I mean? Just shut up.
Yeah, I agree. It's just like, are we all gonna pretend like we all knew that what that word meant 2 years ago?
I didn't.
Yeah, but we're all just pretending like we didn't Google the word when we saw it trending on Twitter. We're all just like, yes, I always knew what this meant. Yeah. Yeah. I've learned that that's a really great way to disarm people in conversation. Is when they use a word you don't know, just say, I don't know what that word is. Could you tell me?
I like that.
That throws people off big time. They're never expecting it.
So you don't say, hold on, I'm Googling that word. Oh,
No, I say, I'm sorry, I don't know what that word means. Could you explain it to me?
that's funny.
It's just it's very vulnerable,
I bet.
you know? And also, if you get really lucky, they don't know what it means.
Yeah, that's the grand prize right there.
Yeah, it's the grand prize. You might strike gold. You might strike gold. Yeah. 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 So no, I recommend it. Put that in your back pocket. It's a great one to use. Um, we got about 10 minutes. We got 10 minutes left in this last pose, everybody.
Oh my gosh.
Stuff is looking awesome. I'm excited to see what's going on Instagram too.
That's fun.
Yeah.
It really
That's
is.
good.
I so knew you were gonna draw her.
I had to. Yeah.
I was like, there's no way Cassandra's not gonna draw.
Cassandra, don't you think that there's something about that pose or face that is very millennial?
Well, it's millennial, but it's also like if you look at a lot of Madonna portraits of the time period, like there is
Really?
this looking
Yeah.
up to the left, like she's looking impatient and annoyed, but also in this outfit, it does kind of mirror some of the portraits. So it's funny, it's tongue in cheek.
If my daughter could draw, she would have drawn that.
It is a
Sandra,
great.
if you could have played one of the characters, who would you want to play?
Oh, I haven't been able to watch it yet. I've just been admiring all of it. So I like back to school stuff has kind of
I was thrilled to see Tony Hale's in it. I think
yeah, I think the
Tony
cast
Hale's
looks amazing.
yeah.
But I love all the costumes so much.
We were talking about Tony Hale, because I rewatched, I went to the dentist and they have this thing where they let you watch Netflix. So I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And I put Development on, and oh my God, it's
He's
such a,
brilliant.
I had to turn it off because I was laughing.
I was
And,
gonna say
Yeah.
that's dangerous.
yeah, it was a bad idea. But Tony Hale, I mean, that character wasn't too far from was it Gary on Veep? I think that was his character, Gary.
Buster.
No, Buster was Arrested Development, and Veep was Gary. I
Oh,
think.
Gary. Oh,
Gary,
yeah. I'm sorry.
yeah.
I'm behind. Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope he's not playing the same guy in this one. You know what I mean?
You know what? As a person who just recently rewatched Veep, there's a nuance to it that's really great.
Oh no! I love him. But what
No.
I'm
But
saying-
I'm saying there's a nuance and difference from Veep to Arrested.
yeah, but that's just it. It's a nuance.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not a departure.
He's a really interesting actor. He's a very spiritual person as well.
Oh, is he really?
Yes, which I find
boy,
interesting. That's a not always an easy thing in Hollywood, I think. It's interesting, but neither here nor there. But yeah, I think he's a brilliant, funny guy. Yeah.
So funny.
Also, if you can just play a character really well, I love a person that just embraces that.
Yeah.
You know, other than like maybe like Pauly Shore, like
Sure.
yeah.
Oh, sure.
I was totally
Well, that's
like
something
rooting
I
for
haven't
him playing Richard Simmons in a docudrama.
He I cannot stand him for that drama.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he made a big deal. A couple people, like a handful of people on Twitter were like, Pauly Shore looks a lot like Richard Simmons. He should play him, right?
Mhm.
For those of you who don't know, on the topic of Nepo Baby, Pauly Shore is the son of the
Mitzi.
owner, yeah, of Mitzi of the I'm going totally blank.
The
The
Comedy Store.
the Comedy Store, the most iconic,
Yeah.
one of the most iconic comedy clubs in the country. And so he grabbed onto these tweets and basically just ran with them based entirely on the fact that he just looks like Richard Simmons. And
I was just basing on he looks like Richard Simmons and thought that
okay,
was funny.
yeah, no, yeah, it is totally funny. But then Richard Simmons was like, and then he like he started putting a production in line, and at no point like reached out to Richard Simmons, the family, anything, and was like forcing it through. And Richard Simmons was like, I have no idea who this guy is, and made a post and was like, I do not want him to do my movie. I like, get away, stop doing this. No one wants you to do this. And that was like Richard Simmons' like final tweet.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Bad.
And then as soon as Richard Simmons has passed away, Pauly Shore is like, I'm so excited to honor this man and his family
Oh,
Oh
man.
with this film. And it's just like, dude, what is
no.
wrong with you?
I did not know all of that.
Yeah. And so the family is like cease and desisting him, and he's like blind, like he's just
I redact my previous
Do
statement.
you redact it? Yeah. Did I build my Pauly Shore case? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like,
Just
Pauly,
like,
Holly, nobody's gonna give you like a second. You spent, you did the same character 1,000 times. That's all. Yeah. Um, do you all worry about like here's a good pun, painting yourself into a corner with doing too much of the same thing, or do you feel, is that ever a concern of yours? Like being character actor with your work?
Very early on, that almost happened to me, and it was, I wound up doing like 6 books that took place in 3rd grade classrooms
Oh,
in a row.
Uh-oh.
Uh, yeah, it's like I did one, and then it sold
Yeah.
really well. So I did
Yeah.
the author's next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and it kept me employed. I was able to tell people I was an
Yeah.
illustrator for years, largely because of them. But I had to
Yeah.
like really work to find people to hire me to do other things.
Yeah. Where
And
you're like, this one's got to be in a 5th grade classroom.
well, and when I finally started getting historical fiction work, now I'm
Yeah.
almost like I'm whatever the opposite of stereotyped is, in a way, where it's like going, it's like, hey, wow, you can do stagecoaches. Here's a train.
yeah.
Wow, you can do
Okay,
Oh,
trains.
you did
wow.
frogs. Now let's do UFOs.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
That's cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never worried about it because I just like what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I figure if I don't like it anymore, I'll have to just figure out what that looks like and
Hmm.
talk to the people I work with.
Is that a concern in the gallery world at all?
Yeah, like if you approach a gallery with one kind of art and then deliver something else, like that's a no-no for sure. It should be at least a conversation if you're going to change it up.
Uh-huh. I see what you mean.
So it's not that you can't do it, it's just that out of respect for maybe what they may be expecting, you should show them what you want to do instead. Because it helps them know how to sell what's coming too.
yeah, I mean, if you have a show, I mean, the gallery is very, very much informed on what you're making, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. I mean, sometimes they're not, some are just like, yeah, just do a solo and just like a couple weeks out, then they'll get back to you about wanting to know more. And some are more hands-on or invested and enjoy following along with you. And um, so it really depends on who you're working with. I don't know, Katie, what's your experience?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that it depends and the communication is key. For me, whenever I started showing at Robert Lang Studios, I had obviously 2 very different bodies of work. And so we did have a conversation about the kind of work that they liked from me and that they wanted to see in the gallery.
Yeah, it's just I don't know, it's never come across as bad or mean, but it's just like they're like, hey, this sells really well here because there's some paintings that I do that sell really well at one gallery, but don't sell as well at another gallery. So I think it's great to hear input of what does their collector base look like and how my work could fit in with that.
Yeah, and it's ideal
Yeah.
for the gallery and the artist. You want to work together so that your work sells and they can
Right.
tell you.
It gets pretty identified quickly if you I do lots of landscapes, so landscapes at different galleries in different parts of the country. They, you know, Colorado gallery may not be too interested with my, Western Kansas paintings or something, so they you got to make sense of it all, I should say. Because they definitely have they definitely have their audience, and they usually know their audience really well.
Mm-hmm.
I
So-
mean, no matter what you do, don't you feel like range is always a pretty great skill set to have?
Sure. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sitting here drawing this person, and I haven't done really any, like, I don't do portrait work. I mean, I used to do it for illustration all the time. But
Yeah. Who do you, what when you can you think of an artist that has like the ultimate range?
well, I don't want to bring them up, but my dad had to be high on that list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
But-
I'm trying to think of the German painter who does is Gerhard Richter I'm thinking of?
Yeah.
EG guy, great painter.
Gerhard Richter with these blurred photorealist paintings, and then these gigantic abstract expressionist type pieces, and then these like geometric grid paintings.
Yep.
Yeah, he's got some range.
I'm just gonna cut in real quick. Everybody, you got 5 minutes to post your work. So start posting it to Instagram. It's hashtag bubonic hive, hashtag drawing hive, and at Visual Arts Passage. We're gonna head over to Instagram in 5 minutes. Start posting.
I also really love Bill Mayer's range.
Oh,
my God,
yeah.
Yeah,
He's
he's the
Mayers out there.
he's the rangiest illustrator I can think
Yeah.
of. Yeah.
When you think of range in illustration, what does it mean to you?
Well, he's
Capable.
he's got such amazing facility as for completely different people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know who was like that also was Dan Adele.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Not as an illustrator so much, but as an artist.
As a painter, yeah. Well, his illustration stuff, though, I mean, a lot of the stuff that I really loved was just really, he was a good painter.
Yeah, but he did.
But his paintings look
one
totally
thing.
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I was in I walked into it was the Eleanor Ettinger gallery in Soho. This was a long time ago when they were still in business, and I was looking at his work, and I didn't realize it was his.
Was it the laundry?
Just the like folded paper,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he did a
geometric paper. And then you think of him, I just thought this was a guy who did like, the characters of dogs and things that he painted that were just so beautifully done.
Yeah.
Okay. Drawing on this person enough.
That's fantastic,
Oh,
John.
that's beautiful.
That soft light is gorgeous.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, if you could steal the talent of any other artist,
Talent?
let's say, yeah, who would you steal from?
I think probably for me, probably John's father.
Yeah. Sorry, John.
Sorry
Sorry.
about
Sorry
Oh,
about that.
that's not affecting me at all.
Well, I think Dale was just like,
I gotta get some tissues here. Hold on.
Dale's like, I just imagine Dale's just like, don't take it personal.
Imagine if I
Hey,
did it
listen,
though, like
It's a
John,
bane
I'm
of my
sorry, man.
existence, man.
Yeah.
It'd
Oh
be
my
my
God.
choice too. I think that there's a group of artists there, Heindel and Fuchs, I think would be real high on the list for me.
Yeah. And I don't even mean like mimic what they do, but just like
Right.
have the ability to like process things the same. And
I'll tell you what, man,
I hate to tell you this, who would be up there really high for me would be Sterling.
yeah.
He's one of the most talented people I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Who's worked at it.
just for pure drawing, Tom Fluharty.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he can draw. Hell of a drawer.
Yeah.
Hans Holbein the
We
Younger.
got
Forever.
Sterling.
Holbein,
Yes.
yeah, okay, there you go. Winner.
All right, I'll say it. Forever for me.
I think that's who my dad would say. He would probably say Bonnard.
Yeah.
Bonnard, maybe um, um, maybe Villard also. Toulouse-Lautrec would be way up there.
Mm.
Diebenkorn.
I'm supposed to like. I'm supposed
Beatrix Potter.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
Velasquez.
yeah. So I was having this
Nice.
conversation with Kyle Webster, Kyle's Brushes, who's coming in this weekend. And I noticed on his previous post that he just made that Claire Wendling liked it. And I was like, oh, that's a good get. I would like Claire Wendling to like one of my pieces, or that'd make me feel good, I think. And he said he said the best one ever was one day Claire Wendling and Bill Sienkiewicz commented like right next to each other.
Oh my
Oh.
gosh.
And he said I was on a Hive forever. And I was like, you really what? Pay attention to that stuff? And he's like, come on, John, everybody does when somebody like that says it. Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
throw Bill Sienkiewicz in there then too, because oh my god.
Yeah.
Talk about range.
Yep.
Actually, I think of like the most probably an artist that I could never explain that I just thought did the most interesting imagery and was just brilliant was John Collier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's really.
He was like a freak. So
Yeah.
good.
Katie, do you have anyone in mind?
Trying to think. I can think of a lot of contemporary artists that I admire.
How about, you know, I'm going to jump in and say something just because you made me remember this. And Cassandra and I had the experience of watching it together. Zoe Frank.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah, heck yeah.
Oh my God.
Huge
She's
fan of
amazing.
her.
Oh my God.
Like I like see it and I just am fascinated with how her brain works.
Have you seen a painting in real life, Cassandra?
One of hers? No, I would love to.
Oh, I saw one last winter in New York. The one the women in
Huge
the
one?
swimming pool. And as great as it is online, it's absolutely just astounding.
I wholeheartedly believe you on that.
Yeah,
Don't
just
tell me that.
Like she can make a radiator magnificent.
yeah.
You know, I think that, I think there's a lot of correlation in what she does with paint is what's in the way Sterling sees things also.
I
Yeah, I
can see
agree.
that for sure.
All right. Well, I'm gonna, in a matter of minutes, in a matter of probably 1 minute, open up Instagram. So if you're posting, you better hurry up.
Walk around. I want to see everybody's pieces up large. I want to,
Could you, if you want to do that, John, can you do it? Because I gotta do this. Yeah. Sorry, I can only do one
Work,
thing
work,
at a
work,
time.
work.
Yeah.
That noive.
Okay. So do you just pin it or do you have to spotlight?
John, I think we're going because it's 7:55. So let's do this.
Okay.
On now. All right. Amazing stuff.
Ooh.
I'm
Yes.
hoping Katie
Check
gets a
it
charge
out.
out of this. There's a
This is
lot
some
of good
awesome
drawers that draw
stuff.
with us.
Yeah, this is always so fun.
Wow.
Oh,
Love
Charlotta,
the
that's
process.
lovely.
Oh, that's cool.
That's great.
Nice.
Nice.
The Daffy. Love it.
Oh, I am
That's
Moonchild.
awesome.
Thank you for that.
Oh, fun.
Ooh,
Well done.
lovely.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Very fun.
Ooh,
awesome.
Xander, that's cool.
Wow.
So did you cut that out from the actual illustration?
Wow.
So
That's
cool.
really good.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Do more of that, Xander.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I love that.
Love that you use Bad Bunny too.
Wow. Beautifully done.
Wow. And we'll walk
Yeah,
around the room.
Terry, that's awesome.
We'll walk around the room once we're done with this.
Yeah.
It's great.
I feel really bad because I cut Katie off and then we went to something else. So
Oh,
Oh, that is
Um,
lovely.
Great
Great
stuff.
expression.
Yes.
Oh, that's great. So many details. So many details to get to. Really good. Yes, Jeff. Oh, that's great. I love that. I just love that he's leashed a duck.
that'd
Ooh,
be AJ. Nice.
ooh, AJ. Wow.
Oh, that's nice.
Beautiful. Delicately done.
That's
that's so
Gary.
great.
Gary.
That's so much fun.
I had no patience in drawing that duck.
That's lovely. Great job.
He looked for Tony Hale. That is like way too debonair.
It's like the most dashing he'll ever be.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that awesome? I'm happy for him. Yeah,
Ooh,
oh,
Terry, you
fun.
got a lot done.
Wow.
Good
There
job.
you go. Stuff
Really
is
nice.
Yeah.
great. Apparently there was a person
I
in
was
there.
expecting Adam to do that tonight.
Yeah,
I think Adam's just going to focus on the duck. That was thinking that at
I
the beginning.
love it.
Mm-hmm. Nice,
great.
Jeff. Really good.
Duck is a hit.
How could it not be?
How
Duck is the
Yeah.
star of the show.
Yeah.
Really
Oh,
nice.
that's fun. Those are great.
Great
Those
job.
hats.
Still need to get our cheek gems done.
Marcy,
Nice, Marcy.
she's fantastic.
Ooh, that's
Wow.
cool.
it's called.
Cool, Nicole.
Good one.
Oh, that's
Oh, I
awesome.
love that.
Yeah.
Good job.
Oh, that's so much fun.
Oh, that's lovely.
Man.
Oh my gosh, I
Ooh,
love that. Bruh.
beautiful.
See, it's totally, it is a millennial pose for sure.
Yes.
It really is.
Bruh.
Yes. Wow, Gary.
Dang.
That's
Oh, man.
haunting.
Okay,
Beautiful.
should have done that.
Doug,
See,
you were here. That's amazing.
Oh,
It's,
Doug.
Oh, it's nice to see Doug. Yeah. Awesome.
somebody tag Tony Hale on this. He looks so great.
All right, he deserves a whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. Is he getting the whoa?
Yeah.
Okay. We do one whoa a night, Katie. If you have a whoa that you want to give out, let us know. Yeah.
Oh, wow, Karen.
Wow. Amazing.
Randy, that's beautiful.
It really is.
Nice, Terry.
That hat, I think it's the tie between the hat and the duck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So great.
It's so great.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
fun.
man, that's the way to do it. That's
Awesome stuff.
Fun, Nicole.
I
Yeah,
love
see
the
the mood.
expression
You
you
can see
got.
the mood for sure.
Ooh, that's cool.
Nice, Aaron.
Oh, nice.
Great job,
Awesome.
Paul.
Knew that was Paul.
I love it.
There's our
Love
That
it.
is amazing.
Tuning in from Kenya. That's awesome.
Wow.
Wow.
That's
Always
Love
love
how
it.
you handled that. That elongated neck.
Yeah, it's
That's
beautiful.
amazing.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It really
Really
is.
nice.
nice.
Great job.
Oh, that's so much fun. Tony Hale.
I like
Goose.
Tony Hale, Goose.
Makes me laugh every time I
So
see
much
the phone.
fun.
good too.
Good job.
Nice.
Wow.
Ooh,
Oh, nice.
Good.
Nicole.
Fun.
That was a great
Oh,
nose.
wow. That's
Terry, you
awesome.
got so
Terry.
much done.
My gosh, I love this.
I do
That's
too.
awesome.
That is
Yes.
fantastic the way you brought them all together.
That's great.
Oh, it's like a
It's so cool. I love that.
Yeah.
mm,
It's so great. Fun.
Really nice.
A
Love
lot
the
of people
bearings.
tonight.
lot tonight.
Wow.
Good job.
Oh,
Beautifully
nice
done.
Padma.
Mhm.
Hey, Padma.
Oh, speaking of cool long necks, John,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
everybody is on the same page. Nice,
Oh,
AJ.
that's neat, AJ.
Awesome.
Oh, that's great, Padma.
Amazing,
so is that?
Padma.
Really nice. Yeah.
Oh boy.
I think I know who that is.
I like, Rebecca, that you and Felicity drew the same pose. That's fantastic. Have a
What
second.
a fantastic image to end on.
Yes.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
We're ending it on an original Felicity.
You know, how many 13-year-olds can you say, I can recognize their drawings? That's pretty
Yeah.
amazing.
Everybody, thanks for joining tonight. I'm just gonna real quickly walk around the room, so stay on because I want to see all this work. Because I know we always want to go through all of it, but this is looking awesome. Oh
That
my
is
God.
awesome.
Beautiful.
With
Yeah,
the
I like
bench, the bench was stacked tonight, and
I'm gonna
also
send you some real
yeah.
art supplies.
and but then
That-
check it out. This is
that-
very exciting. I've got to say, this was an honor, Katie, our esteemed guest.
Yeah,
All right,
Katie,
Katie.
that's
Oh my God,
beautiful. Thank you
amazing.
again for
Thank
joining.
you very much,
Unbelievable.
Katie.
Yeah.
Thank you. This was a blast.
Oh my
We're here every
gosh.
Thursday night.
Anytime
Yeah.
you want to come.
Open door policy. You're already a crowd favorite. It's, yeah. Oh my God, Adam. See,
Wow.
all these iPad people, I'm going to be like, sorry, Adam proved them wrong. It works fine.
Excellent.
Right?
Amazing.
Wow.
Oh,
Nice
Dale.
deal.
Oh, that's
yeah.
beautiful.
Love it.
Very
That's
nice.
amazing. Awesome. Love it.
Wow.
Killer.
Gorgeous, John.
What a fun night. The only thing I'll say is enrollment closes October 4th. Uh, if you're looking to really develop a career in this and you want that guidance, you want a compass to get you there, that's what we do. So go to visualartspassage.com if you want to learn more, or respond to literally any email we send you. It goes right to me, and we'll answer any questions you have. So everybody, that was so much fun. What an awesome night. It's always great to have a guest. And Katie, you did not disappoint. That was so exciting.
Thank you,
So,
Katie.
thank you. Thanks.
You had to kind of wonder, knowing what you're going to get into, but hopefully we didn't scare you off. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I hope we can get you back. All right.
Oh, definitely.
I'm looking for a part two.
Yay.
I'm looking forward to a part two. Everybody
you,
have a
everybody.
good night.
Thank
Bye.
you. Night.
Night, everyone.